Okay, what is going on everybody, and welcome back to Aaron Memes Gaming. And today we are doing something different. Today we are not playing Resident Evil, but we are going to be doing a Resident Evil tier list. Can I get a woo woo in the chat? W is in the chat for what I am about to do to you. Okay? Listen, we just played through the final Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Village. If you guys have not checked out that series or any of my other Resident Evil series, go check those out first and then come back here. You know what I'm saying, you dig? Alright? We finished playing Resident Evil Village, Shadows Worlds DLC, all that done. And we're going to be moving on to a new series which you guys are going to be seeing very soon. I might reveal at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. But I wanted to do a tier list for each of the Resident Evil games. If you guys have watched this channel called Saki Chronicles, they have done multiple Resident Evil tier lists. They've done for the games and the characters, I believe, and then like the scariest moments and stuff like that. And I kind of want to do just something like that. I'm not going to do characters just because there is so many. I think it's going to be a little unfair for me to do that, or just a little long. But I wanted to do a Resident Evil tier list. Firstly, Resident Evil 0 I have not played, and Resident Evil 5 I have not played. But I will be replacing Resident Evil 5 with Resident Evil Revelations. So, editing Aaron, do you want to perhaps put a little cover on that? I'm not going to keep it for the rest of the whole video because that's going to be annoying me a lot. But yeah, just pretend RE5 is Revelations. I'm going to tell you right now, none of these games are bad. I can just tell you straight up, except for Resident Evil 0. I'm just going to put that at a C category. I feel like I've seen playthroughs of it. Well, like not full playthroughs, but from what I've seen, it looks like a game that I probably wouldn't enjoy too much because of like the no item boxes and stuff like that. I'm just going to put that there. Anything else I need to say? If you guys are ready for the video, like and subscribe. Subscribe to my other channels, Aaron Memes and Scrolling Lyrics. Like this video, I just said that. Share this video with everyone you know, turn on post notifications, and comment down at the end of the video if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, and what changes need to be done. Alright, starting off with the 2002 Resident Evil HD Remaster.
Resident Evil.
This one is super special. You know, obviously it's the origin, it's the beginning. Everyone really likes this game. I've not played the 1996 version, but a lot of people say this game is very faithful to it. Pretty much keeping everything that it was in the original and not changing too much, making everything better with like the crimson heads and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. For me personally, when I played the game, I loved the atmosphere. I enjoyed the horror. I enjoyed the puzzles. I enjoyed most things about it. The things I didn't enjoy about this, I feel like the game kind of like chucks you in out of nowhere and expects you just to figure it out on your own, which I do like. I feel like at a point I do like it because it doesn't make the game too easy, but I feel like I spent a lot of time just like going through rooms back and forth, running laps around the mansion, being like, what the freak do I do? I think I had to look up how to do, or like I think I had to look up what to do like maybe once or twice, a couple times, because I literally just couldn't figure out what I had to do. I think I remember it for the helmet key. Like I literally just couldn't figure out how to get the helmet key. But besides that, and I appreciate a game like that, like one that kind of makes you figure it out on your own. I kind of do wish that I didn't end up Googling what to do, because I feel like I would have enjoyed it more, and it would have felt more rewarding doing it on my own. So yeah, but I personally really enjoyed it. Jill is a banger. I haven't played it as Chris yet. I only played it once on camera for you guys. But the story is beautiful. The setup is beautiful for the rest of the games. You know, introducing Jill, Barry, Wesker, the Tyrant. Like, there's so much to this game that's like really unique, and it kind of amazes me how like ballsy, why did I say like that? Ballsy that Capcom was for the beginning of the game, like doing so much. So I respect it. I'm gonna put this game. I'm gonna put it at an A tier, I think. So, oh yeah, the tiers are S, A, B, C, D, C, and D. Sorry. I probably should have made them something more interesting. Pretend A is like pretty freaking good category. It's a pretty freaking good game. There's obviously it's the oldest of the bunch, So there's some like, you know, technical flaws, the tank controls and stuff like that. The graphics for the time is actually very, very good. I don't even want to complain about that. That's actually one of the things I really like about the game is how it looks. So yeah, I'll leave it at an A. Okay, Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2 Remake is not what I expected. I remember everyone talking about how this game is the best Resident Evil game, like how it's up there. For me personally, I didn't see it. Maybe that is definitely attributed to the fact that I watched playthroughs of the game before playing it myself. Like, for example, Resident Evil 1 Remake. I'd seen bits of the game in person, but I pretty much experienced the game fresh from my first playtime. But when I played Resident Evil 2, I already knew the puzzles, I already knew the characters and what happens. Obviously, there was some still like new things that I didn't see. Or it's like, you know, it's still an experience playing it for yourself rather than watching a YouTuber play it. But yeah, I think that was definitely an issue for me, is that I already knew what to do in the game. And for me, I don't know what it was. I beat the game very, very quickly. If you guys remember, I think I beat the game in like 6 hours or something like that. Like, genuinely, I think I beat the game in about 6 hours. Maybe it was even less. Maybe it was like 5.5. Like, I feel like I blitzed through the game. I played it on normal difficulty. So, I guess you can say I didn't play it on hard, which I could have. But it was super quick for me. And I feel like I kind of like breezed through it. Or like I didn't find much of a challenge. Like, I think I remember Corey Kenshin. I think he spent like 10 hours playing it. And I spent 5 or 6. Which I don't really understand how I did that. But the characters, obviously, Leon, the hardcore rookie, and Claire Redfield. Oh, Claire is what brings this game to an S tier. Oh my god.
Out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that?
But yeah, the characters are very good in this. The 2 stories you have, actually, to be fair, you have 2 stories, so it does add on to the playtime. You have Leon's campaign and then Claire's, and then you can like play each other's one as each other person, if you get what I mean. So there is a lot of replayability to the game, which I will give. Yeah, I love seeing Claire, love seeing Leon, love seeing Ada, Marvin, Irons, Brian, who else? Mr. X. The cops, yeah, there's pretty yeah, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, I think this game is well done. One of the things I really enjoy is like the graphics and how gory it is. Like, shooting the zombies is actually like a really satisfying thing to do, like seeing their heads pop off and just seeing their neck meat, you know, it's weirdly satisfying. If you've played the game, you know what I mean. Like, it looks really nice in a weird way.
What?
The horror's done well. The game is very nice. It's like, has a very good vibe to it. Feels like a movie, which I will say a lot of these games feel like you're watching a movie rather than playing a game. Like, which I personally really like that about games. So this one I'm gonna put just above Resident Evil Remake. I think they're like pretty close. I think I prefer the Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil 2 is just bordering on an S tier. It's close, but it's not there yet. Okay. Oh, actually, and Resident Evil 2 has a lot of like extra content modes, DLC, which W's, even though I couldn't beat him. Skipping on that. All right, next up is Resident Evil 3. This is the one that a lot of people don't like, okay? Now, I know for a fact that a lot of people do not like this game, and me included, to be fair. What do I even start with this game? Very short, obviously. I think that's the majority people's main complaint about this game is very short. I think I beat it in about 4 to 5 hours on my first ever playthrough. I mean, yeah, I think, okay, I will give Nemesis the benefit of the doubt. I think Nemesis is a very good stalker enemy. He is actually intense to play. I wouldn't call it scary, I would call it more intense, just because he is faster than you, and especially if you didn't get the roll move down like I was in my first couple times playing. I couldn't do the roll move very well, and it definitely added to the horror or like the intensity of the game, because you know he just beat you up and chase you really quickly. So I will give Nemesis props on that. His design, I know a lot of people don't like it either. I personally didn't mind it. I neither liked it nor disliked it. So yeah, very mid-range for me. I think the characters are good. I think yeah, the characters are good. Jill, fun character to play as. Carlos, initially I didn't like him, but he does grow on you later on in the game. Tyrell is obviously the banging dude. What? That sounds bad. Nikolai, good villain. Yeah, he's a good villain, I'll say. And what's the other guy's name? Mikhail Victor. Oh, Mikhail Victor. He's a very good character, even though his presence is very short. He does quite a bit in the time he does. The thing I definitely didn't like about this game is there's no like additional quests to do in the game. There's very few. There's the one clock tower puzzle where you need to collect the 3 gemstones. You can pick up some like like weapon parts and stuff like that. But besides that, there's like no like additional thing you can do in the game. Even for like Resident Evil 2, there isn't really much you can do outside. Like obviously, I'm gonna bring up 4. Like 4 had like the merchant requests and stuff like that you could do. Resident Evil 1, I think, had like some extra stuff you could do on the side, like that's not story wise, that could just help you out. Yeah, Resident Evil 3. The problem is I really like the setting of Raccoon City, like, but I think Capcom really like disappointed me in what they did with Raccoon City. Like, if it was something like close to like a if I had to describe like a Gotham City, right? Like in Batman. If it was more like that, in the sense of like it's more like open world, there's like side things you can do. Like the world feels lively in a way. Obviously it's a zombie apocalypse, but like even then you can still like add more to the setting. I feel like the setting was one of the biggest potentials in Resident Evil 3, and Capcom like disappointed in that. So for that reason, I'm gonna put the game at a I think I might have to actually I'll put 0 at a D and I'll put 3 at a C because it rhymes, you know. Okay, Resident Evil 4. Everyone's favorite game. Is it my favorite? No, I already told you this. But is it still an S tier game? Yes. Okay, there's no denying that Resident Evil 4 is an S tier game. It's super, super good. Come back as Leon 6 years later in a Spanish village. The setting's beautiful. The characters are done really well. Even better, I feel like some of them are better done in the remake. Some are better in the original. I haven't played the original, by the way, just in case. But like, for example, Ashley is done better in the remake. Luis is done better in the remake. But in the But in the original, I think Leon was a better character. I think the villains were better. Ada was better. Obviously, Ada in Resident Evil 4 remake is so pang.
Whoa, brother! Whoa! Now you got too much dip on your chip.
Well, I didn't say that. But yeah. So it's like a bit of a mix and match. Some things are a lot better in the original. Some things are a lot better in the remake. So if you had to ask me which one I prefer more, obviously I'm not playing the original. I feel like they're super on par. There's things about 4 in the remake that I don't like in the original, and vice versa. But I just wished that like the problem I have with the remake is like it doesn't have the same charm that the 4 one that the original 4 has. I remember I saw a video, I can't remember what it was, but it was like Resident Evil 4 remake has like no soul put into it, if you know what I mean. Like obviously the game is super fleshed out, super well done, good run time, good side quests. There's a lot of things you can do in the game, feels very lively, it's a very well polished game. But I remember it's like, yeah, the game doesn't have the same like sort of soul or passion or energy or charm that the original has, which is one of my personal big complaints about it. Like I feel like with the original. You can like, it has that replayability. You can just play over and over and over and over again, where the remake you can't. Like, I think I can't remember how long my runtime was the first time I played, but it was very long. And then, you know, you trying to platinum the game, you do the speed runs and stuff, you play through it. I think I've played through the game about 5-6 times now. And like, having to play through the rail cart section, having to play through Ashley's section, having to play through some of the other sections like over and over again, it gets very boring, especially when you get to like the Navistador areas. I really just don't like playing those parts like at all, and it does get to me. But obviously the positives to the game, it's Resident Evil freaking 4. Do I have to say much more? Okay, Resident Evil 5, or should I say Resident Evil Revelations.
Resident Evil Revelations.
Because I haven't played 5. I feel like I wouldn't mind 5 if I played it, to be honest. If I had someone to play with, actually, yeah, that would have helped. But Resident Evil Revelations, this one, you know, obviously it can't compare to the mainline entries because it is a spin-off game. Or it's like a side game, should I say. But it's a very well done game. I think I spent longer on Revelations than I did 3, which is crazy to think. But I really enjoyed the setting of 3. You know, you're on a boat. What's it called again? The Annabelle? What's it called? The Queen Zenobia, that's what it was. See, my memory is good, guys. Okay. Yeah, you're on the Queen Zenobia. It's a very well done setting, very fleshed out. A lot of things you can do, a lot of areas to travel to, a lot of fun areas. One thing I really like about games is that it's not like super serious 24/7. Like, there's like sections where you can just relax, where you can just play around, you can explore and just have a bit of fun. That I saw that within like the pool areas and the casino areas. Like, I enjoy that sort of stuff in games a lot. The characters, to be fair, the only characters I really liked were Chris and Jill, and what's the other, Parker? Yeah, Parker, he was okay. Didn't really like him that much. Jessica, she became a villain. She turned on us at the end, so we do not stand Jessica. And the other characters, you had O'Brien. He was a bit all over the place, and the story was also very all over the place. That I didn't like. Like, I couldn't figure out what the story was. Like, he kept on jumping back and forth in time. You had like the previously on Resident Evil Revelations, which, you know, just made things even more confusing. Because I feel like the game, the story wasn't linear enough. Like, obviously linear stories aren't, it shouldn't always be linear, but like, I think this one was so like out of nowhere. Like, I didn't know what was happening half the time. And I was like, especially towards the end, because it was like things just kept on happening and like there was no explanation behind it. It's just like they would show a cutscene, chuck you into the game, chuck you into another cutscene, and it's like, oh yeah, cool, figure it out for yourself. Like, I remember I watched a video talking about like the Resident Evil Revelations plot, which then I started to understand it. But yeah, I feel like if the story was like more put together and more clear to understand, then yeah, I would have enjoyed it. The gameplay I wasn't the biggest fan of. I feel like the guns weren't very good in the game. I feel like just the overall, like, the way you played wasn't super fun. The enemies were super boring. There was only like a couple styles. The boss fights, there was a lot of them were super like tedious to do. I remember the first boss battle, I didn't have a shotgun with me and I kept on just dying over and over again. And the other boss battle, the one where you're like on the deck and you're like fighting with the tentacle Donnie, super boring and tedious. And then at the end you had like a machine gun that you just kept on spraying, which was like super boring and not creative, I feel like. So I think they could have done a lot more with this game. Obviously it was a 3DS game, so to be fair, for that I have to give it the benefit of the doubt and I'm gonna give it a B tier. Okay, Resident Evil 6. I think most people's least favorite Resident Evil game.
Resident Evil 6.
And definitely for mine as well. What are the positives with this game? I think the characters are actually rather good in this game. you had a lot of characters. You had Leon, Helena, Sherry, Jake, Chris, who was the other guy's name? Sure, I can't remember. Who's Chris's companion's name? That guy, you know who I'm talking about. And then Ada. I think all of the characters were really done well. I know a lot of people like give hate towards a lot of the characters like Helena and Sherry and stuff like that. I personally didn't see a problem with them. I think obviously the thing with Sherry was like she just like kind of appeared in the game for no reason. The last time you see her was in Resident Evil 2 as an 8-year-old, and now she's like a 20-year-old and she's just chilling, you know? Like, kind of doesn't make sense why she just appears out of nowhere. I mean, we know the story, but it's still like, I feel like they could have done a lot more with that, like, as just like an overall like scene or plot point. Like, they could have made it a lot more like homely feeling or like relatable. You know, it could have been like Sherry just like talking about her experiences with Raccoon City and how it changed her life more and more. And like, even like seeing Leon or seeing Ada again. Did Sherry ever see Ada in the 2 game? I don't think they ever encountered each other, but like, even then, if they did it in 6, that would have been very interesting, because surely Sherry would be aware of Ada and Chris and Leon and Claire. And what was Claire in this game? I feel, did I miss that? I know she's in Revelations 2, so maybe explains it there why she's not in 6, but I feel like she would have worked in perfectly in this game. Yeah, this game is pretty much I see this game as like full-on missed potential. I think the game has a sort of charm to it, you know. Like, I think the setting they're in, like super massive grand scale China, in Europe and America, like, there's so much they could have done, but I feel like this game is super linear. Like, there's no like there's like pretty much 0 side quests to do. You literally run and gun, go to this area, run and gun, go to this area, run and gun, cutscene, chapter over, you know. And that, for that being 20 hours of the game, you know, 4 different campaigns, 5 chapters each, and it being 20 hours long, like, that is so crappy. Like, it got so, I remember Leon's campaign was fun. I think I enjoyed Leon's campaign quite a bit, actually. Like, I would have rated that like a B tier, Leon's campaign. But then with each passing campaign, it just got worse and worse and worse, and more tedious and more boring. Like, if you guys watched my playthrough, you would have saw by the end of the game, I wasn't even fighting the enemies anymore. I was just running past them and going to the checkpoint area or the objective area. That's just how boring I found the game. Like, I didn't want to kill the enemies anymore. I just wanted to run past them, because there was way too many enemies. It would have taken way too long for me to defeat them, and for very little benefit. And the fact that you have to like replay sections as other characters, like, I forgot what the enemy is called, but when you're like on Chris's campaign, you fight the big Donnie in like the snow area, and then in Jake's campaign you have to do the same thing. Like, I just found that really tedious and boring and not creative. The fact there was no side quests to do, the characters had super little interactions with each other. Like, I feel like all of that is missed potential. If they fixed up on that, this game could have been super high up, because they had so many star characters in this. They had such a great setting that you could have explored a lot more, but you couldn't. And like, it's just there's so little, like, how do I describe it, like, content in the game. Like, between characters, they barely talk to each other. The cutscenes are usually just so like chaotic and all over the place. It's just like, it's more of like a brain F. You just like turn your brain off and watch the scene. You don't even really pay attention to what's happening. It's more just like, oh, that happened, okay, now I'm here, let's continue. Yeah, if they if they did a remake on this game, I genuinely think that it could be one of the best Resident Evil games. All right, fight me for it. Fight me for my opinion. I think it could be, but this original is a D tier for sure. It could be a C, because of like, there is some good qualities to it, but you know, like, it is a fun game. Like, just especially when he played as Leon, like it was actually a very fun game. It's just a problem of doing it for another like 15 hours, then it got boring. So I could give it a C tier, but for now I'm gonna give it a D. All right, Resident Evil 7.
Biohazard 7.
And the reboot, the revival of Resident Evil. You know, you got the RE engine. You got some of the best characters in the whole series. Jack Baker, I'm specifically talking about. My guy is actually scary. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys one thing. Out of all of these games, there's 3 sections I can think of that actually scared me. One is being the regenerators in Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 7 with Jack, and Resident Evil Village with the one scene I think everyone knows. Won't say yet in case you don't know. Also, spoiler warning just in case. Resident Evil 7 I think is a phenomenal game, especially for your first playthrough. Playing this game for the first time is a special experience, I will say. If you have never played Resident Evil 7 before, and you've never seen the playthrough of it before, I highly recommend you go play it.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Because it is incredible. If you have a VR headset as well, go play it as well. Like, if you play this game for the first time on a VR headset late at night, lights off, headphone volume up, you know, I respect you for that, because that I've never done it before, but I can imagine that being a crazy trip. I think the game setting is really cool. Louisiana, in an abandoned house, abandoned mansion, Spencer Mansion-esque vibes. You know, they were built by the same person. I think the game pacing is really well done. The ship section, obviously, the game falls off for me, but I can forgive it, especially when you play it for your first time. It's pretty good. It's just when you play it again and again and again, that's when the ship section gets really redundant and boring and not exciting to play. The enemies in this, perfection. Okay, this is the only game where you're pretty much constantly in fear, especially for the first half of the game. The modded are actually scary, and they can hurt you. The crawler enemies, they can hurt you. The shielded enemies, they are very strong and intense. Jack, Marguerite, Lucas, like, they are really good. Evelyn, not as much. She's not that scary. I feel like once you've gotten past Jack and Marguerite, the game really doesn't become that scary anymore. Like, if you can get through that, you can get through the rest of the game very easily. But yeah, I think some very iconic stuff. You have Ethan, you have Mia, you have, you know, the save room theme, which every freaking like Corey Kenshin Ape Ryan video, you see that Resident Evil 7 theme, and I love it. You have obviously the mansion, and you have it tied into Resident Evil Village. Like, the story of this game is good, but it becomes perfection, or very, 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 very good when you reach up to 8. So for that, I think overall everything, the horror, the setting, the characters, the vibe, everything, I'm going to put it at an S tier. Not above Resident Evil 4, just there. Okay. And if you guys have been watching the channel for a little bit, I think you know how I feel about Village. This game is my favorite in the Resident Evil series, okay? And I'm going to explain why. Okay, Resident Evil 4 has that iconicness, that charm, that like, the characters, okay? And that, I think, is what sets Resident Evil 4 apart from Village. But, okay, the big O but, okay? I'm talking like a black man butt. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. The thing that makes Resident Evil Village better than 4 is everything else. Listen, okay? The gameplay is better. Actually, I think Resident Evil 4 Remake gameplay is better. Okay, I will take that back. But the story is significantly better in Village than in 4. I think some of the settings are better in Village than in 4. Like the castle is better in Village than in 4. Stuff like that. I think the overall vibe to the game is better in Village than in 4. I personally really like the snowy, mountainous, remote European village setting more than the Spanish village. I think the treasure hunting is done better in Village than in 4. I think the Duke is better than the Merchant. I think the overall pacing of the game is better in Village. I think like the game is scarier than 4, and I think the ending is better in Village than in 4. Listen, if you disagree with me, I would love to hear your comments on what you think it is. I feel I can obviously understand why people would like 4 more, because I can definitely see the reasons why people also don't like Village. Like that I can definitely understand and I can see it. But for me, I think part of the reason is because Village was my first like Resident Evil game that I played personally. So obviously I have a better connection to the game, and I know more about the lore and the story than in 4. Overall, I prefer Village over 4, but I think if I was around when the original 4 came out and I played that as a kid, I could definitely see why I would have more of a bias towards that game. But I'm a bit on the younger side, I will admit, and Village, I think, is just an overall better piece of game than 4. But if Village had the same like iconic scenes and characters and stuff that 4 did, it would be like miles clear from 4. But I think 4 is just like that very like everyone loves it, everyone knows it, everyone remembers it and stuff like that. But I think just Village overall is a better masterpiece. And I think part of it is the story. I think the story is so freaking good. That I think Village is the reason why I got into like lore so much and stuff like that. But with that, everybody, hallelujah, we are done with the Resident Evil tier list. If you guys want to make this of your own, just go to tierlist.com and do this. Okay, I want to see your opinions. I want to see your tier lists. I want to see what you feel about the game. If you disagree with me, comment down below what you agree and what you disagree. And with that, I hope you guys have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like it and subscribe. Subscribe to my other channels, ARAM Memes and Scrolling the Lyrics. The links to those channels will be in my channel bio. So go click on that and subscribe. Turn on post notifications. Share this video with everyone you know. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. And, okay, shh.